Boom, baby, boom. Rise and shine. It's your morning marijuana motivation time. I'm your host with the mostest, Mark. You say it every morning I get up, and I'm blessed to be alive. And this morning is no different. I'm alive again, feeling dead inside. And my friend told me I should go live and talk about my experience, just because he said most people might be learning from it. I'm like, maybe 5 people are paying attention to it, but there might be something in it where people might need to see their forest through their trees. I talk about it every morning, but my weaknesses exposed me. And I expose myself as a narcissist because it helps dim down the ego. And that's what we're going to talk about this morning, motivation. I'm going to roll a joint. This is Saints Addiction. And unfortunately, I've had some addictions. I've had addictions to love, I've had addictions to drugs, I've had addictions to emotions, and the one thing that I've been working on with the psychologist is to not have, um, avoid, not react from a trauma filled space, and also identify where this trauma came from. A part of the research is that these are the things, the reason most of us don't handle these things that happen to us in our lives is because one, we're blind to it. That's right. Some of the most traumatic events that have happened in our lives, we're just blind to it, and maybe it's just a subset of emotions that are still firing the neurons and basically making you relive the trauma. What I started to notice about myself was that anytime I got some anxiety, that it would ratchet me up to get that response out of me. And then that response wouldn't be very cool at all. It would be offended. I couldn't take criticism. In a narcissist mind, you think that you're doing something so right? Like, I'm putting in the workouts, I got the haircut, I got the right glasses, everything should be all right. The thing is that if you are a perfectionist, which most of us are, right, you're going to go chase perfection almost everywhere that it's not. The weird part about jumping outside of yourself or looking for something external is that now you don't do any of the inner work, any of the shadow work, any of the pain work. I should call it pain work because it's a lot of pain that most people never want to feel. You don't want to feel the pain, so we numb it, we suppress it, we push past it. We don't want to identify it at all. We don't want to have any kind of conversations about how we really feel. It's only how we really look. As long as we look to the outside that we're happy, or that we look to other people to make them jealous, or that we have the appearance of semblance of having it together. And I think this is the hardest part, is because I would love to have that semblance. Part of my ego wants to be sharp and wants to be smart and wants to know it all. Part of my blind spots was that I didn't know that I had childhood trauma. I hear this kind of word, childhood trauma, and it sounds like a weakness. That if it was something that it's like a detriment, like it's hard to take because you want to look people in such a good light. You want to be a saint. You want to be blessed. You want to be happy. You want to have all these things. And the worst part is the opposite, is to be without money, or to be without a sense of security, right? Like, it's with real self-esteem. And the tough part about the narcissist is that we're never happy. We're always chasing something. We're always going for something like perfect. Like, it's got to be perfect. Like, it's got to be the perfect wife. It's got to be the perfect life. And in that chasing, we're never happy. We're always jealous of someone else, right? Like, he's got a baby, he's got a kids, his girlfriend's more prettier than me, he's making more money than me. Constant competition with ourselves. So this is where the imperfectness doesn't come from. So I'm driving so hard, I'm doing so much, I'm so smart, I'm supposed to be this amazing human being, but I fall short. And that's why I put the Mostly Saints logo on this one, is because, everybody has the halo and horns. My thing is that my horns are too big. They're too big for my britches. It's too big for a grandiose explanation, trying to pretend that I have something that I don't. I want to pretend that I have mental health, but it's not. I can start talking about my father, and in seconds, I'm going to start to want to cry. I'm going to get emotional. It's going to trigger me. And that's what I'm worried about. I'm worried about these triggers in my life that fucking keep getting me to not be in my own reality. for me to live in a dystopia that's way safer and keeps me from getting hurt and keeps me from being misunderstood and keeps me from feeling awkward. In my superior state, I feel like I'm winning everybody over. I'm the best person to talk to. I'm the fan favorite. I'm also out of papers, so there goes that. I was trying to roll a joint for the morning motivation, and then I'm out of papers. Oh no, that's not good. Let's get up and swing at it again. My heart is heavy to do this show. I still have some healing to do. I'm not nowhere near out of the woods. I have an appointment at 6 o'clock, tonight. We'll see what happens. I think my homegirl has some papers. He doesn't have it, but let me check. Chris, you don't have any papers, do you? Rolling papers? Papers? No. Yeah, that's not it. Did you get a good selfie?
Yeah, of course.
Of course. Do you have any papers? Rolling papers?
No, I just smoke normal cigarettes.
No, that's it, huh? I'm looking for some rolling papers. If I can get some. I'll look. Fuck. I'm trying to roll a joint. I might have to go all the way to my house for this. Here's my logo. Some pictures. I love it. I'm gonna ask him when she's done. Yeah, there's a lot of pain out there, you guys. There was just a lot of hidden things that we don't see, and that's how they catch you. I'm gonna roll down to my bungalow and grab some papers. I guess we can sit and talk about it as we go. There's no one here. Just 3 dudes on a computer, super chilling. Filming girls doing selfies, pretending they're happy. I wish we were all as happy as our selfies. For reals. And this is where it comes down to. It comes down to how much conversation you have with your trauma. There has to be something in your subconscious that you're not talking about. There's hidden stuff that we don't really keep on surface level, and it rules our reactions, our response rate. It's a whole fucking thing, bro. And the more I started realizing it, right? This beautiful tree. I just love this tree. Thank you for the cop. That I wasn't living in a reality. The tough part about being a narcissist and learning it is that you believe in object permanence. You think that the objects that come into your life belong to you. Like it's a possession. It's a blessing. And this one idea or this one person or this one thing comes into our obsession. Like we want it to be what we think we want it to be. I'll shout out to Oasis for letting me use their internet. Let's go to my bungalow real quick and grab me some. Yes, bless. Had to climb down to my bungalow, and now I'm coming up the hill. Woo! Thank you, bro. This message is brought to you by Futurola Tyson Papers. I wish I sold a bunch of these around the world, but I smoke like a champ. Smoke like a champ. So this is a public service announcement. Didn't really want to go live. I don't want to chase validation. It's more of an embarrassment because then I have to call myself on my own shit. All the times that I've been abusive, or every time I've lost my temper, or every time I got entitled. Even now, when I go smoke, the guy said that there are no smoking signs. And then I stopped smoking, then I would smoke on the edge. Then the other day, there was no one here. Then I smoked on this edge. And then when it all happened, you know what I mean? I fucking went to this side over here, and I got in trouble for smoking. That's right. A whole bunch of shit, bro. Of no self-control or control put upon me. Forms of control. You get stubborn, right? You feel like people are trying to control you, but the whole point was to have control over yourself, and I just lacked self-control. It tied so much in with my addictions. It was like, I don't want to go without, I got to get mine, and I don't want to be, I don't want somebody taken away from me like my mommy, or, it's like a lollipop or an ice cream. You're going to throw a fit like a kid and be like, where's my ice cream? I want my fucking ice cream. Entitled, spoiled, treating the people that care about you, the ones that bought you the ice cream in the first place, you're now being the meanest to, you're being disrespectful to, you're devaluing them. It's such a weird position to devalue something that you had value for, something that you held in high esteem and wanted so much. All of a sudden you're dropping their self-esteem. You're shooting them down. You're making them second guess themselves. You're making them feel like they're gaslit. You're gaslighting people. You're maybe telling yourself the lie because you're so used to lying. That's another thing they say narcissists are constant liars, is because you believe in your grandiosity. Part of it is the denial of it. It's like, I do want to be a successful entrepreneur. I do want to have make 10 grand a month. I do want to travel the world. Well, some of that's true, right? Like some of that's true, but it's like a false bending of the truth, right? It's like makes you think that's what's going on, but that's not actually what's going on. What's actually going on is that I'm insecure. That's right, big old muscles, fucking travel the world, got all these brands, and I still need to feel loved by my father. I feel like I'm not man enough till I start making some money. I feel like I don't get to be a father until I actually become a safe harbor for some people, for someone in my life, when all I've been doing is being disrespectful to women. I can charm them, but I can't keep them. Eventually I exhaust them. Eventually I push them to the brink, and who wants to be involved with that kind of mental nightmare? And that's what I've been. I've been a nightmare. I've been a nightmare to others, and there's a lot of pain in that, because then you start feeling the pain that you didn't feel at first. As a narcissist, you're only thinking, well, I'm not getting enough sex, or you're going off with other people, or I need more attention, I need more affection. My thirsty ass did the opposite, right? I'm so greedy and thinking I'm gonna go without. It wasn't enough to have her. I needed her more. And I was only gonna open her up more when I didn't chase after her, right? Like, it's gonna be given when it's wanted to be given. I wanted it when I wanted it, and that's where the entitlement comes from, right? I didn't want somebody to dictate my sex life. I didn't want somebody to tell me, okay, we can have sex tonight. We have sex on Wednesdays only. No, I wanted her to be all over me. It turns out she's only gonna be all over the guy that makes her feel safe, bro. Like, you ain't gonna be putting bitches in headlocks and marrying them and keeping babies. I'm telling you right now, this is how I learned the lesson. I had to learn with my children's lives. I have fear in my head of all this thing, that I'll never be a father, that I'm getting older, and then I'm gonna have all these children at this pearly gates then the day that I die. And there are gonna be all my children around me, just, I don't know, infants, fetuses, whatever you wanna call them, of missed opportunities in life. And they're all because of anger. And if I would felt secure in myself, if I had felt, smart enough or good enough, and stop trying to chase more, and like, okay, you got this beautiful woman that's just fucking fully in love with you, she's smart and talented, and what do? You drop her self-esteem, you show no empathy, you gaslight her and fuck with her mind and play mind games. And I mean, a good mind game, fuck, is one thing, but the killing of real love, or even obsession, even if it was a real love, the killing of real hope of love. Like, just always blow the candles off the cake, because I'm afraid that someone is really not going to love me. So let me show you my crazy side. Let me show you all my bad side. Let me show you all my insecure side. There might be another side. I'm thinking that was just my bad side. And if you don't love me at my worst, then you don't deserve me at my best. And it just doesn't work that way. You got to show your best. You got to show something that people are going to be like, this is the rest of my life. I got to deal with you and your abuse and your constant mind fucks, and that you're putting people down. And I was thinking I was winning the argument. If I'm in an argument, I'm not winning an argument. It's pretty fucking simple. But like, you'd be surprised, and I think we surprise ourselves how often we find ourselves in an argument fighting over stupid shit. It's because our ego wants to open up. And our ego only wanted to open up because there's a wound. And if you didn't have that wound, if you didn't have that situation in the back of your head happening to you, this wouldn't be happening to you. You'd be concentrating on something else. And that's another thing I want to give people too, is that's one of the things I've been doing with all the computer stuff set up right now, is putting the power back into me. You know, instead of the obsession of the other person, what they did to me or how they hurt me, right? It's like, how am I going to heal myself? How am I going to learn from this? How am I going to fucking break generational fucking curses when I didn't even see it in the first place? You know, I know when I'm being mean to somebody, but I didn't know why I was arguing with them. I thought that they were just talking shit to me. You're not a psychologist. I went and got a psych degree. Fuck you. You don't have any empathy. I'm like, I got a big heart. I care about people. It's just that I don't care about my loved ones when I need something. Right? Like, it's only I love them when I need something. This is what's so fucked up about the disease, and I think we're all a little bit narcissistic like that. How many of us have had friends that we only call when we need a ride, or when we need something? You know what I mean? The person you ain't heard from last time they were on fire, hair on fire. Hey, buddy, what's up? The next time you hear from them, are they going to ask for something more? And that's the narcissistic way. It's like I'm not being man enough to get my own income so I can pay for my own fucking ticket out of here, right? I'm not being man enough. I'm limping along the facade because I have friends. Like, my friends bought my tickets here. My friends gave me money so I could live here. And now I'm needing my friends to give me a fucking ride out of here. You know, I'm a grown ass man. I turned 44 years old, and you think it doesn't embarrass me that I can't afford these things? I couldn't afford that girl. You know what I mean? It was way more high maintenance that I could deal with and afford. So my insecurities started to show, you know, and we think that no one's looking, right? But your character shows so loudly, bro. Like, people see if you're helping picking up stuff. They're seeing if you're slutting around with a bunch of chicks. They're seeing you if you're being in your realness. And you can try to fake it all you fucking want, but eventually it's gonna come out, man. You're gonna be in a hot, heated situation, something you didn't think you would ever see or do before in your life, right? And the next thing you know, you're fucking in trouble and strife, no wife, no baby, 44 years old, and you're acting crazy. You're not acting like your normal self, because my normal self's pretty chill here. I fucking get a joint. I sit here talking morning motivation, download the videos, move the business forward a little bit, always find a new reason to smile, do something nice today, and then I'm just destroyed inside because now all this pain that's so weird that I had to endure as a child, I now have to reparent myself, give myself the love that I never got as a child, be enough, and not stop chasing all these dreams. Like, I don't have to prove anything. I'm here. I'm here, and I think I have to chase something. It's like never enough. And if you do that, then you're always going to be never enough. If you never give yourself enough credit, if you never give yourself the positive attributes and traits, if you just sit there and do a fucking browbeat all day long, guess what it's going to be? It's going to be bloody, bro. It's going to be a bloody fucking beatdown of a fucking experience. And that's something I didn't want to fucking do. I didn't want to hurt myself more than I've already hurt. I didn't want to hurt others. And I say that, but when they're in the midst of it, I'm thinking I'm protecting myself. That's what's weird about it. I'm literally restraining her and thinking I'm protecting myself. That's how deep into my trauma wounds is. You know, I was hit as a kid. And the people that love you the most are hitting you, and I didn't think anything was wrong about it. Now it's all of a sudden, it's like, no wonder why you act like a fucking bag of fucking squirrels lighting on fire when shit happens. And it's just 11:11. How cool is that? I still get some spiritual magic. Let me smoke this outside, because I'm not entitled, and I don't get my way all the fucking time. Just let you know. I try. I want cool things to happen to me. I want preferential treatment. I want VIP treatment. I've been in Vegas way too long. You know what I'm saying? Thinking that my shit don't stink. That shit crazy. Don't want to play video on it. Are you leaving?
We're going to another place.
Oh, okay. Yeah, good luck. Yeah, of course. Bring this phone. Let's do this. Finland. The homies. Can you say, can you say to my friend? Friend. This is my new friend from Finland.
Hello.
Yeah, Namoi.
My boy.
Yeah, see? Winkis. Yeah, we meet all over the world. Yeah, dude, everybody's cool. Everybody's super chill. So, let's get this to go. Even now, as I walk up to this bathroom, I'm getting scenes of having sex in the bathroom and fucking behind the bathroom, and I think that's where the mate bee was born. I gotta get out of here because I tend to ruminate too much. It's a situation that happens, and it's already happened, and to let go of something that wasn't, I was ready to let go. I was ready. I've already found someone else. I thought they were a better fit for me, and what wasn't harassing me, I viewed it as complaining and instead of listening. I think that would be a big error in my mistakes. Everything was attack. So instead of it being constructive or like having a point, which now I read the messages and I was like, oh, she was right, you know? I'm not acting like an empathetic psychologist. I'm acting like a fucking psycho. And because my feelings are hurt so much, I get to treat other people with hurt. This fucking sucks. You can't hurt me, I'll hurt you. Perverse thinking. And it's not that I directly set out to hurt anybody. In fact, the friend said, don't start any fights. I was like, oh, we're not going to get in a fight. Boom, she ran for the door. Boom, I wanted to stop her from the door. I wanted to still talk. I wasn't done talking to her, but she had a right to walk away. And I took her right away. I took her freedom away, and then I scared her safety. It is disgusting me, dude. I wake up in the morning, I'll be throwing up. I have to sit with it. I can't just smoke it away. These things really happened. And I'm responsible. It's that simple. I'm responsible for my growth. I'm responsible for my actions. I'm responsible for learning. Even if my parents don't tell me or no one ever fucking gives me a fucking clue, it's up to me. And it was meant for me to learn. And it happened twice. It's like, oh, I should see a psychologist. I feel so bad. Now it turns into, I got an appointment at 6 p.m. Turns into, how many times can you repeat a mistake before you seek help? And then I realized, doing my research and my YouTube videos and taking my notes, that this is things that we can't see. I can't understand how something that happened to me when I was 8 years old is still happening to me when I'm 44. It doesn't make any sense. But it doesn't make any sense the way I react when it happens. When I get all fucking way too angry or way too reactive or way too responsive, guess who that's on? So I try to numb it out. Got Saints addiction. I try to chill the fuck out. I try not to ruminate on my thoughts. I try to let go. I try to move forward. I try to put that energy in myself, in my growth, in my learning. Pain tends to overwhelm me because then you start to count how many people you hurt. And then you think it was just you the whole time. You're like, is it just me? It is you. You're the one being a narcissist. It's not just you in the world. And they know it when they're talking to you because you switch subjects back to you. And they know it because you only call them once in a blue moon. And they know it because, and I know it because all my friends are gone. Not just because they moved away or whatever, but because I am alone. She's alone on her journey. He's alone on the journey. We're all alone on this journey. And whether we stop long enough to see if our cart is still working, we keep moving forward. It's like Oregon Trail. You just keep moving forward. And sometimes you need a pause. Sometimes I need to sit here and pause and be like, holy shit, I'm still in this fucking jungle with the fucking, I'm not going to be insecure anymore, with the fucking sweat dripping down my fat, right? You know, you can't fucking see it, but, you know, I am not a skinny person. I gotta be secure with the way my body is, and no matter if I'm gonna keep fasting, and no matter how skinny I get, this is my responsibility to love my body, that it has healed me, that it has let me travel, that it doesn't give me any major injuries, that I've, for the most part, been smart enough to not actually physically hurt somebody, but I've been getting physical with people close to me. And I think it was learned from my father because he was close to me and he was physical to me. So someone that you could love could at any moment pull your pants down and spank you with a belt. Do I really want to be a 44-year-old man talking about my daddy spanked me with a belt? But it was also the lack of attention, the lack of concern, and lack of empathy. I inherited it. It's like, you got to be tough. No one cares. You know, the world doesn't care. And then you start looking at the world like everybody else is playing on that I don't care shit, when you really need to be near people that really care, people full of soul, people with community, people with some spirituality. And you're over here fucking with the people that are making the most money, but they ain't gonna call you for your birthday. Super successful, but they have no empathy for you. And now that's exactly what you're describing about me. I'm this good looking thing, or at least I believe that I'm handsome. I was told I was handsome, but I like to think that my external way outshines my internal. I like feeding the homeless. I like giving to people. I like meeting people. But at the same time, when I'm meeting someone, I'm already bored talking to them. I'm already lying to them that I'm from Iowa and I'm a pediatrician. I don't want to hear their Vegas stories because I'm an asshole and I don't want to entertain them. I had one friend in Brazil go like, here, it's Mark. He's like, where are you from? I'm like, I hate that question. They're like, why you gotta be like that, bro? I'm like, I just hate that question, bro. Like, it couldn't ask me anything like, what's my favorite cheese? And instead of being amicable, instead of being free flowing, I'm now against the flow. I've literally stopped the flow from happening, and now my blessings aren't flowing to me. I'm blowing the candles off the cake, and I don't know why. For the like disillusion, looking at myself in the eye in this fucking reflection, right? I'm going like, this dude had no fucking clue. He kept doing the same cycle over and over of abuse and arguments and control and staying in this realm. And as long as you did what I said, right? Like you changed your appearance or you stopped acting a certain type of way or kept you from being in your freedom, I started to push her away. I would too. Somebody said I can't go out with my friends on a fucking motorbike. Fuck you. I've known this guy for how long? I'm Freebird. Maybe she could have explained it better. Maybe she didn't have to stonewall me. Maybe she didn't have to be so critical and pick on me. But those were my tests. As soon as she was critical, I was like, yeah, I could have made the bathroom better. No, I took offense. Then she left. Or that that she can't be free with her friends, and then I'm gonna go sleep with someone else, just like a narcissist. This is how I figured out I was a narcissist. It's like you find other supply. You never go without. You're just like your father. Just like, you don't want to be hurt, son. You know what I mean? You don't want to be hurt. You want to be having a spare tire at all times. Nothing's worse than a man without a spare tire, right? The things our parents say to us, they're not responsible for. The way we react to them is our responsibility. And if you don't know that, you're acting like a spoiled brat. I didn't know. I just felt entitled. I'm like, here, I'm Mark. I'm this guy. I'm gregarious. I'm from America. I'm from Vegas. I can smoke weed in the restaurant. They put up signs for us specifically. We were smoking so much for a whole month straight to us not do that. And I'm over there like still trying to find a way. Asking still, feeling entitled. You're like, what if the girl comes? What if someone comes to eat? Oh, I'll just put it out. No, you're starting a revolution. You think it's just about you, but if you start smoking, then someone else is going to start smoking weed, and they're going to point at you and say, hey, he's smoking too. Then it becomes a problem. So why are you doing something you know you're not supposed to do? Entitlement. The rules don't apply to me. South Korea, I'll smoke weed. The book and door. So I taught my horse that I've been to South Korean prison, but I was there because of my own actions, bro. I didn't want to hear no. I didn't want to hear somebody tell me that they weren't going to do certain things. And this is this part of the awakening. I'm looking at the video, but it looks like it's 30 minutes more. I think I fucking cut it off, but this is the author of The Body Keeps Score. It's a pretty cool book. They keep saying this, but it's something that I started to really tune in on. So I'm gonna fucking play it for you so you can hear it. They are not the one. A narcissist loves you to your death. What narcissists are made of. Nobody can find love. How healthy people regulate. 3 things. Avoid the narcissist trap. Female narcissists. Early narcissist clues. 10 ways to manipulate a narcissist. The secret of successful relationships, rupture and repair. If they do this, it's time to leave. Yeah, if they put you in a headlock, it's time to leave. I'm saying it because I did it, but yeah, here. What is trauma?
The most important thing to know is that there's a difference between trauma and stress. As I like to say to people, life sucks a good amount of the time. We all have jobs and situations that are really unpleasant. But the moment that situation is over, it's over. The problem with trauma is that when it's over, your body continues to relive it. My name is Bessel van der Kolk. I'm a psychiatrist, neuroscientist, and author of the book, The Body Keeps the Score.
True story. True story, bro.
I got interested in trauma on my first day working at the Veterans Administration. 1978 was the year, and the Vietnam War was over by about 6 or 7 years. The very first day that I met Vietnam veterans, I was just blown away. These were guys who were my age, who were clearly smart and competent and athletic, and they clearly were just a shadow of their former self. Their bodies were clearly affected by trauma, and they had a very hard time connecting with new people after the war.
You don't trust yourself.
Around that time,
You think you're
a
constantly
group of
doing
us
it.
started to define what trauma is. And in the definition of PTSD, we write, these people have been exposed to an extraordinary event that's outside of normal human experience. In retrospect, that shows us how ignorant and narrow-minded we were, because it turned out that this is not an unusual experience at all. People usually think about the military when they talk about trauma, but at least 1 out of 8 kids in America witness physical violence between their parents.
Getting handsy.
A larger number of kids get beaten very hard by their own caregivers.
Me.
A very large number of people in general, but women in particular, have sexual experiences that were clearly unwanted and that left them confused and enraged. So, unlike what we first thought, trauma is actually extremely common. There's a lot of debate of what a trauma is to this day. But basically, trauma is something that happens to you that makes you so upset that it overwhelms you. There is nothing you can do to stave off the inevitable. You basically collapse in a state of confusion, maybe rage, because you are unable to function in the face of this particular threat.
Overwhelmed.
But the trauma is not the event that happens. The trauma is how you respond to it.
And I responded by developing.
The factors against getting traumatized is who is there for you at that particular time. When, as a kid, you get bitten by a dog, it's really very scary and very nasty. But if your parents pick you up and say, "Oh, I see that you're really in bad shape, let me help you," that dog bite doesn't become a big issue because the foundation of your safety has not been destroyed. We are profoundly interdependent people, and as long as our relationships are intact, by and large, we're pretty good with trauma.
But what if your relationships aren't there?
Experience, and what may be traumatic for you may not be traumatic for me, depending on our personality and our prior experiences. problem with trauma is that it starts off with something that happens to us, but that's not where it stops, because it changes your brain.
Now my brain
Much
is
of the
never
impact
safe.
of trauma is in a very
Never trusting.
primitive survival part of your brain that I
Survival
like to
mode.
call the cockroach brain.
Jesus. Cockroach brain.
There's a part of you that just picks up what's dangerous and what's safe. And when you're traumatized, that little part of your brain, which is usually very quiet, continues to just send messages. I'm in danger. I'm not safe. That event itself is over, but you continue to react to things as if you're in danger.
Totally.
We're talking about survival. We're
Yeah.
talking about staying alive.
That's how I built Saints
And so
Addiction.
some people go into fight flight, or on a more primitive level, people's brain shuts down and they collapse. Yet these automatic responses are not a product of your cognitive assessment, they're a product of your animal brain trying to stay alive in the face of something that part of your brain interprets as a life threat. The problem then becomes that you are not able to engage or to learn or to see other people's point of view or to coordinate your feelings with your thinking. Traumatized people have a tremendous problem experiencing pleasure and joy. But the core issue is our hormones and our physiological impulses that have to do with survival.
This is where addiction
Your
stems in.
body keeps mobilizing itself to fight.
Clenching
You
your
have all kind
jaw,
of immunological abnormalities, endocrine abnormalities,
rising heart
and that
rate,
really devastates your physical health also.
anxiety.
Oftentimes the physical problems are longer lasting than the mental problems.
Heart attacks,
And the other thing that is
panic
terribly
attacks.
important is the impact of poverty, or the impact of racism, or the impact of unemployment. There's other societies that are much more trauma savvy than we are, where there is not an enormous amount of income inequality, healthcare is universal, childcare is universal. A culture like that really looks at what are the antecedents for certain forms of pathology. So the big issue is a political issue. How do we rearrange our society to really know about trauma so that people who grow up under extreme adverse conditions can become full-fledged members of society? The sense of community and people being there for each other is a critical part of surviving and thriving.
Get smarter faster.
Get smarter faster. I hate talking about trauma because it's hard to bring up. And since I never brought it up, it never got handled. And I developed a self-defense mechanism. Instead of developing real self-esteem, I started to lie. I would tell people I was from LA, but I was really from Simi Valley. I would say that I make t-shirts for a living, which would be true, but I don't own a shirt shop. I used to have a shirt shop, but it wasn't successful. I want to be successful because then I beat my dad or get his approval or, win. And all these things, our ability to make ourselves happy, the chasing another feeling, right? You're always chasing, searching. It's weird. It's really weird because now you're never happy. And that's why narcissists get jealous. That's why they're always trying to prove something. That's why they're always trying to get the better car, the bigger house, the better clothes, because that's going to signal to you that they're a good person, that they're a successful person. But some of the biggest, best doctors in the world are narcissists. They don't really care for their patients. They don't really have empathy. They're just making money. It's like a stripper being on your lap. She doesn't really like you. This is a transaction. And when you're in survival mode for so fucking long, getting out of prison or making a business out of nothing, your shock rate is so high, you don't even see it. It becomes your new normal. Your survival anxiety is now a new normal. And even after being here for 6 months straight, every day pretty much being on the beach and trees in the breeze in the trees, I still have trouble fighting my depression. I still have trouble controlling my narcissism. It doesn't get to go away because I'm in paradise. No, it wants to do it even more. Live grandiose, buy bungalows with money I don't have. Um, 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 Talk about tree houses, even though I had an idea for Shangri-La, or go to 5-star fucking hotels, even though I can't afford the dinner. I'm a piece of work, man, and it's worked, but it hasn't. It's worked that my obsession, my addiction can drive me to some accomplishments. Never thought I would do the weed magazine, but it happened. Never thought that I would do a weed festival, and it was an epic fail. I bite more than I can chew. I want homes around the world. I dream big. I talk big. I act big. I got no money, big mouth for a no money pile, big dreams for a guy that just travels. I think that I'm special because I traveled, and then all my peers here do the same. It's like you're not doing anything new. You're just spending money on a fucking airplane ticket. What's new about that? What's hard about that? Anybody can swipe a credit card. But I felt special that I get to live this free life that I dreamed of. But it's not the full dream life, because what will happen is I'll pick it apart. It'll never be enough. Then I gotta have the bungalows. Then I gotta buy the other bungalows. Then I gotta buy the currency spot, but then I want a smoke shop. And then I, maybe still keep the hairstylist place. Ooh, we should have an ice cream shop too. Bro, with what time? I'm 44. I can only pick so many dreams. And that's another thing I had to do, was consolidate some dreams. Drop the grandiosity. Drop the ego. I'm literally staring at myself all the fucking time while I'm just staring at a pool. I'm grateful that I'm outside. I'm grateful I learned breathing exercises. It's a reprogramming of the mind. This kind of explanation is cathartic for me. It's like a pre-talk from my psychologist. It's become almost like a mental diary, but I've been learning so fucking much. It was just like, everybody should know who hurt you, right? We say it in such a rude way. It's a mind fuck of a red pill, fresh and fit club question. Who hurt you? It's a very sensitive question, and it shows no empathy for the person. We don't care about their intrinsic value. We care about their statistics. Are you underweight? Do you have a low body count? You know what I mean? Do you function well? Blah 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 blah. We're measuring people like cattle, and we forget the whole part. It's like, is this person going to be the mother of my children? Am I going to treat her with respect, or I'm going to get handsy like this video in front of my kids, so that Marky Saint, when he becomes older, Junior just became bigger and actually acted like his father? Makes me look old. Traumas a lot. It's something I swear I would never do. And then I look back and I've done it 5 different times, 5 different exes. And that's when I knew I was a narcissist. I was the type of person to continue an argument. I was the type of person to pervert the truth so I would come up on top. I was the type of person to didn't even know I was doing it. I was just thinking I was just being me. I'm allowed to talk. I can be in front of your face and constantly take up your time and demand your time. And I'm so entitled that you belong to me now, right? Because you love me, you would be this way. And then what's weird is when you get in relationships with these people, we'll treat you with so much glamour and glory and then just drop you down like you're nothing. This whole yo-yo effect that my father would do to me and make you feel like you're The number one son, the prodigal son, pride of his eye, and then the next minute you're nothing to him, not talking to you, stonewalling you, making you feel less than, and not supporting you. And that's what I fucking started to learn. And treating people like what you can do for me, it sounds so embarrassing, but I mean, isn't that what we do? Maybe it's a Vegas thing, but you don't go up into the club talking to just anybody. I like talking to people in the VIPs. I like talking to people with their computers and laptops open. I like hobnobbing with people that have been around the world and own businesses. I like being in the high life. I like showing off the high life. I love showing up off all the time. I love flexing. But while I'm busy getting a high off of my flexing, I'm not learning. I'm not growing. You know, it's all ego, and it fades away. And it's just one snapshot, and you put your phone down, and your smile fades away too. And if we're all looking for happiness, and we know it's not on our phones, and we know it's not out there, why do we keep doing it? Why did I feel compelled to go again? Sure, my friend asked us, I'd never give up, never give in, and that's my kind of spirit. But I also thought, I was watching a girl that inspired me of her 3 month breakup and how she went through day by day almost. And she's like, her friends are like, "You sure you want to show that? You sure you want to show your soft side and breaking down and crying?" And I think everybody does need to see it day by day, because once you have a narcissistic collapse, it literally makes you feel like you're the only person in the world, because now you've pushed all your friends away. I ate alone for my birthday. There was an abortion on my birthday. I my second abortion because of abuse. I literally have 4 children around me from miscarriage, abortions, maybe 5. Kind of like lost count because I'm not sure if that chick was really real there. But it obsesses my mind, and it's like as long as I have like this kind of outlet, then I can feel better. Talk to a friend for hours, so I can feel better. Get some attention, that'll make me feel better. Get some empathy from someone else because I don't have it. Looking like a crack addict, like they got the drugs and I need it, and I don't care how silly that I look to get it. And it works so well with addiction. This sense that you can't handle the amount of pain inside you, that you just want to feel good now. You don't want to get to the root of it. You don't want to feel more pain. You're already in pain. Why do you want to feel more pain? And what's worse is, why are we numb to the pain that we cause? Do you feel me on that? Like, is that not weird and perverse that these are people that you love, but you only love them conditionally if they do the right things? Like, it's like doing it to your children or something. Like, I don't, did you get good grades? Okay, then I'm not going to pick you up from school. What the fuck would that be looking like? You know? And that's what it feels like. It feels like this really high highs and really low lows. It feels like you're on top of the world and they just slam you down like you're nothing at all. And what's worse is, this is something that you're supposed to love. This is something that you were supposed to enjoy. This is something that you were supposed to protect. And since you weren't protected when you were a child, you're not protective as a man, as an adult, with no excuses. What's my excuse now? Excuse is that I hurt so much, and I didn't want to fucking give up, and I didn't want to give in, and I didn't want this thing to win. So some of the thing of the narcissism is that I think I'm special enough to win. I think I have the guts to beat this thing, and that I will have children, and that I will be a good father, and I won't be like my father. And can't just blame it on him. Can't just blame it on his dad. This is happening to a lot of people. Trauma's out there, and it's just being more aware is what I'm sensing. Timing my emotions, not sitting with them for so long. Being able to say a positive thing to a negative thing. Being able to own it and sit with it. That's been the toughest part, because Lord knows I want to numb it. Lord knows I just want to smoke weed all day and forget that I ever had a childhood. But if I don't do this work, if I don't have this conversation with myself, if I don't stay long enough, thank God I can stay in a paradise and just chill the fuck out. But if I don't talk my way out of it, if I don't write notes for it, if I don't keep seeing a psychologist, I'll forever be this way. The next time a beautiful woman comes into my life, I won't be able to appreciate it. And right now I'm grateful that I do have someone in my life, someone that does not judge me, and then we work on things, and I'm not alone in my own things. There's a bit of narcissistic supply there, but there's also a bit of hope that I'm not just this one big piece of shit that it can never have children. And maybe these people were wrong for me, but I also ended it wrong. And I'm looking at people wrong. Instead of seeing humans, I'm seeing what I can get from them, or judging them instead of actually listening. The weird part about listening is you actually feel better as a narcissist because not only are you getting attention, but um, it, you leave the pain and you're ruminating for a little bit because now they're giving you all new information. It's like a video on TikTok. You're just like, oh shit, I'm not all up in my mind. It's not all about this different shit. I can fucking hear a whole different story. I don't have to ruminate and repeat all the things that are going on in me. I can leave my body for a little bit and not just be all from here and this kind of perspective, but feel them. That's how you learn empathy. I actually had to look up how do you learn empathy? And like they say, if you can yawn, if that makes you yawn, you're empathetic. It's like a 1 minute test. If you see someone's pain and you feel it, that's being an empath. That you're open enough to feel someone else, vulnerable to let more pain in. I think everybody's all pained out and they're numbing their pain, and they're wondering why they're not getting the joys that they want out of life. They're trying to consume it, they're trying to buy it, but it's coming from within. It's a fucking inside job. This is a real job that you're gonna have to do day in, day out. See a psychiatrist, practice with every person you see. Every person you can see if you're going to be listening or playing the narcissism. Are you going to name your narcissism? Mine's name's Francis. It's my first name. I hate it. They used to make fun of me as a kid. The teachers, especially a substitute, would say Francis and everybody would laugh. It's not who I am. And that's why I'm calling it Kill Francis. Because I want to kill that part of me. That's not who I am. I'm this guy that's super chill, smokes weed, and thinks about business and makes moves and can talk to anybody. Then my ego shows up and I start telling lies in the conversation so that they'll like me more. I'll start feigning like I'm their friend, but I don't know if I'll ever see them again. And Lord knows, because of my cutoff techniques, I can cut anybody off at any time and then not care, or pretend that I don't care, or suppress it, put it right there with my trauma. And then I pretend like none of that hurts, and then it all comes back. And you wonder why people drink. The shame, the guilt, the imperfection. So yeah, it drives me nuts as a narcissist to constantly strive for perfection, but I'm still overweight. I'll diss my body, but I feel great. I'll bitch while I'm in paradise. I'll feel real depression, but I'm also free. So it's a disease. It's a psychosis. It's a self-defense mechanism. It's something that I learned as a child, and I still have to go back and figure it out. But I thought I would go live today so I can keep it going. Maybe share my knowledge so you don't have to spend the $50 for the hour for the session. Or 2 hour sessions actually. So it's a lot of work that needs to be done, and I'm willing to face it. I didn't want to be the narcissist, so I kept calling her a narcissist, and then it was like, oh, I'm so in denial that I'm willing to pretend you're not smarter than me, pretend like what you're saying isn't true. And even though I reread the messages, I was like, all that's true. If I was a real psychologist, or her psychologist technically, I wouldn't say anything of her privacy. I wouldn't break any HIPAA laws, do no harm. And I also wouldn't be able to use it, weaponize facts against her. So if you're doing any of these techniques, odds are you're a narcissist too. You might need to be clinically diagnosed But you might need to just treat people better. You might actually start seeing them as people and not objects. You might want to see them as human beings that have feelings, that have futures, that have had past. And you also might want to see them as the other part of everyone else that everyone else on the planet has. Unworthiness, this lack, this void. And you can try to buy your way out. And you can try to fuck your way out. But you gotta go in to get out. Isn't that weird? Some Buddha shit. You gotta go in to get out. You gotta go inside yourself and find the power to fight back where you didn't have power, to reparent yourself, to not do the same mistakes that they were doing. Maybe you can't go in the past, and maybe they did the best that they can. This isn't a blame game. This isn't the Pain Olympics, man. This is a one-horse race, and you're on it. And this is the only horse you got. And to cross the finish line, you might actually have to stop in the chute before you even start. Because every time I went out, I should have got help. I could have got help, and I didn't. And I wasn't healed. And then, because I'm not healed, it's going to keep going that way. If I can't see myself in the conversation, stop dominating the conversation. If I can't see myself just being, not positioning, not Machiavellian, not trying to fucking jockey for position. If I learn empathy, when I learn empathy, and I'm learning it, I still have a heart. I still have feelings. It's not just about my feelings. It's the people. It's the planet. It's my new way of life. So I have to practice it. So yeah, people are important. Their opinions are important. Validation is important. Don't be so dismissive. Don't be so judgmental. It's a lot to learn. Don't be so critical. Lord knows the Taurus likes to share their unsolicited opinion, and I'm doing it now. Lord knows I'm getting some validation from this, but I'm thinking somebody's going to see that this is a mental journey. It's not just a destination. It's not just me going around the world. It was me finding myself on the other side of the world, seeing myself in my mirror, my dark side, my shadow, and sit here long enough to face it. That's a bitch. That's your morning marijuana motivation. If you got anything out of it, like, share, subscribe, comment below. People need to share it. They got to figure out their trauma. They need to know that they're not alone, and they got to get strength. They have to go back and fight a demon that they didn't even know was still inside them. And if you don't, that demon will come out and fight against you. And you won't like it. And it'll be a detriment to you. And it's the work that needs to be done, or it'll do you. Peace and love. And as always, Cheetathon. That means goodbye, but not forever and finish. And I will see you on the other side as soon as you like, share, and subscribe, man. The other side of the world. The other side of fear. And the other side of your excuses. That's Saints Addict. We out here. Be good.